so deliciously hot to me when I'm with a person I like and there's a little bit of sexual tension and then they lean over and they're like, "Can I kiss you?" I don't make that sound usually. Why is it so sexy? Because they asked for consent if it was okay, which shows one, that they respect me, and two, that they've got some basic sexual communication down. Hot. But consent isn't just hot, it's also mandatory. Sexual contact without consent is assault or rape. But here's the thing, people often think of sexual coercion as something that's, violent or physically restraining. In reality, sexual coercion is often much more subtle. It happens between two people who know and maybe even trust each other. The perpetrator will use pressure, manipulation, drugs, alcohol, and force to initiate sexual contact without permission. Worse, in the real world, sexual coercion is often seen as acceptable. Like pushing someone over and over and over after they've said no, or throwing yourself on someone without warning because it's romantic. No, that shit's not romantic. It's just creepy and salty and rapey. So can you not do that? Are you enjoying yourself? How does that feel? Do you like that? Do you want me to keep going? How far do you want to go? You look uncomfortable. Are you okay? Good consent is basically just checking in. It's paying attention to someone's body language, how they're doing. It's keeping those lines of communication open so that everyone's on the same page and everyone feels safe and comfortable, which means this is not how you ask for consent. Nope. Come on, I thought you liked me. I promise you'll like it. Just do it for me. What's the big deal? We've had sex before. I'm so horny right now. You liked it last weekend. Douchebag alert! Also, potential rapist alert. Rapists often see sex as something that's owed to them. Sex is never something that's owed to someone. Doesn't matter if you've been flirting, if you hooked up before, if they bought you dinner, not even if you're naked. Pushing someone until they finally give in is not consent because you're basically not giving the option to say no. So how can you know if someone is consenting once you ask? Yes, please. Oh man, that feels so good. Touch my body, put me on the floor. Keep going. I'm down for anything in these areas, but not these areas. Yeah, right there. Why, yes, I would like that. Notice how consent is a clear yes. It's enthusiastic. I want it. It's out loud and there's no doubt in your mind. And remember, consent can always be retracted. So if you feel like the vibes have kind of changed or you're unsure, getting mixed signals, you want to check in. This is what no might sound like. I don't like that. Can you stop? I'm not ready for this. Can we slow down for a second? I'm not into this anymore. I guess, if you want me to. Please don't. Just because someone doesn't say no doesn't mean they're saying yes. They might feel uncomfortable or guilty or not know how to say it. So that is why it's really important to hear that verbal out loud yes. And if they're being quiet, ask them, "Hey, how you doing? What's up? How's it going? Everything okay?" And that, my dears, basically in a nutshell, is how you practice good consent. So now I want to talk about some situations where consent cannot happen, even with a verbal yes. Sometimes people get drunk. You may have learned this about the world. When it comes to sex, a little bit of alcohol isn't a big deal. But if they're too drunk to drive, they're too drunk to give consent, period. Getting sexual with someone who's wasted, slurring their words, their body's limp, they can't communicate clearly, maybe they're throwing up, that's absolutely sexual assault. Let's all do the right thing and take care of them, not take advantage of them. Sometimes when I'm at schools, people ask me, well, what if they're both really, really drunk? It's pretty simple. Sex is an active thing. It requires the intentional action of at least one party to get it done. Remember, sex isn't something that happens to someone. It's something that happens together. Both people participating, like this. Kind of. Having sex with someone who's intoxicated or in this compromised state is against the law. You can be expelled and you can go to jail for it. Age of legal consent, it varies by state, it varies by country, but for an adult to have sex with a minor is statutory rape. And in general, when people are in two very different parts of their life, it raises some red flags. This ties in with situation number 3. You hold authority over them. You can't get get consent from someone who you have power over. So I'm talking about things like teachers and doctors, therapists, coaches, priests, caregivers, famous actors, maybe even famous YouTubers with their fans. When one party depends on the other, when they trust them, rely on them, when they idolize them, it severely impairs their ability to consent. Why? Power dynamics like these come with strong underlying vulnerabilities, which can give the appearance of consensual sex when it's actually exploitative. You know, someone abusing their power. We need to make open lines of communication and consent just a standard, normal part of sex. Not a situation where most teenagers can't even describe what consent is. We do have the power to change it as individuals, and by spreading this information to other people, we can help to create something called consent culture. That's a culture where all the sex that is had is sex that is wanted, and that's how it should be, but that's not how it is. Give me all the consent! I'm ready! I love you all so much, and I will see you again next time. Mwah! Bye-bye!
Except your mom.